Okay. All righty. Let's get this show on the road. Looks like I have a problem here. My YouTube video is the wrong one. So let's see here. I need to. Automation, man, I tell you, gotta watch it. I had some automations going out, and it looks like I set it at 3:30, should have been 3, and then my streaming software was not connecting properly, so the link to the streaming is not working. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's get this thing going here. Y'all are too busy to listen to me whine and complain. So let's get our stuff going here. We're going to need to share my screen. And this time I am doing the whole screen. That's what we're going to do. And let's see here. Let's do the window. Let's do this instead. That's better. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Woof. Let's go back to the stop because I was practicing. I just did this same presentation. Let's make sure this is going live here. I think I am live. I think we're good. Yeah, I just did this same presentation at my local chamber, but this was in more for small businesses, in the area. So in the Fort Bend, Houston area. And so I'm kind of jacked up right now. I spent literally an hour and a half on this and then questions. So it's all in my head, but let's get started here. So if you can, for a moment, just let's see. I want to make sure. I'm going to fix something here real quick and fix something here. All right, let's see if that works a little bit here. I'm afraid some folks might be going to the wrong one. Okay. All right. So here we are. Attention if you can. I realize many of you are probably going to watch this later on, but if you are, I do recommend just kind of turning things off for a bit. Turn off your cell phones, Facebook, chat. And if you're a moving company owner and you're serious about getting better results in the next 60 minutes, this is going to be jam-packed with all kinds of information to make sure your website is a converting machine. Everybody has a website, but is it the kind of website that's going to convert, get the right kinds of people? And what I mean by that too is quality, the quality kind of leads that we're all looking for. So just a little bit of just kind of a background here. We've got our lead domination system, and part of what we're going to talk about is the web design and the branding aspect of dominating your marketing system. There's reputation management's a part of it. SEO, search solutions with SEO, PPC, expanding your reach with social and email, marketing automation, as well as analysis and reporting. And all of these all cohesively work together. We've got this accelerated growth map. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk specifically about websites, which is all part of maximizing that conversion. I don't care what kind of website or what kind of marketing you're doing, whether you're purchasing leads, buying leads, or you're getting it from referrals, you've got a network of people sending you business, you're doing direct mail, you've got your truck is driving around parked in different locations, and people see that, they're still going to go to your website. Now, if you are buying leads, I understand a lot of that it's a phone call and that's it. And you make the sale then. But any mover or any homeowner, apartment, commercial is going to look you up. I just have to see if you're a legit company, and they're going to go to your website. So your website has to be the kind of machine that's going to convert people, and you're looking at 2 to 10 times more leads than maybe what you had before. And we've got, again, a little bit more information. Now, again, when you're looking at a website, all eyes come back to the site, typically. We've got Google Ads goes back to your site, local ads, Bing search back to your site, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, paid online directories. There's a link back to your site. They're all going to come back to your site to look and see if you're a legitimate company. If you're specifically that kind of person, of company, with the kind of people that they're looking for. They're looking for transparency. They're looking for some trustworthy people, and that website needs to be part of that conversation. That as we're engaging with different kinds of clients. First, we're going to talk about cultivating and inviting online presence, and then I'm going to get into effective conversion points in your website, optimizing methods to boost those conversions. Any QAs, if you guys have any, great. Now, who am I? Why should you listen to me? First, I've been in digital marketing for over 2 decades. And I spent 10 years in the Defense Department as a logistician. So I was in the group, originally Cameron Station in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Defense Logistics Agency specifically, where we did a lot of the inventory management. So I would tour the country from an analyst standpoint with some others on different depots and different warehousing. I remember part of my job was to take back containers back from the second Gulf War, and moving big old containers across the ocean and just organizing all that. I've been a speaker and a mentor for small businesses. I've traveled the country doing speaking engagements. I've worked with contractors across the country. I've actually crossed international borders into Canada. I've got the podcast Lifting Your Moving Marketing. I'm working on a book, future author of the Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Movers. One thing, proud wife of a Marine. And I grew up as a daughter of an Air Force guy. So I grew up on military bases, which comes me down to the fact that I have moved every 2 to 3 years of my long life. I have done military moves, commercial moves, personal moves. I've moved across the street. I've moved apartments. I've moved homes. I've moved, you name it, I moved it. DIY moves, packing only moves, you name it. I'm your ideal customer. I always get a mover, except one time when I was 22 years old, I didn't move myself, couldn't afford it. But as we kind of go through this, I just kind of a little bit of history. We've done a lot of sites, like I said, 2 decades in the business, and done hundreds, thousands of websites. These are specifically some of the moving companies that we've worked with in the past, currently working with. Now, let's talk about the problem. I got to say, one of the bigger problems, well, it's not a problem, but it is a concern for most moving companies, is that it is a big marketing investment. That it does take a lot of time. Now, depending, you can get some sites that are template sites, some sites are custom sites, some sites are specifically built for moving companies, and so they can be inexpensive. But overall, your investment in a website can be pretty big, especially when, again, we go down to maintaining the site, updating it, getting the right content on there, getting the right photos on there. That's a big investment. The other is that traffic, you get traffic, but you're just not getting enough of the right leads. We hear that a lot. Another problem is there's a low ORI. You're spending all this money and we're just not getting the return on our investment. We've got some parked trucks, empty schedule. That's a problem. Last year was pretty tough. 2024 was pretty tough. I do see the market changing. There's been some squeaks about the interest rate lowering a little bit, but I think also, even if it doesn't, my reflection on that, or my idea is, I think people are not going to wait until the interest rates start lowering. It's like, it is what it is. So let's see if we can just kind of get moving on that too. But there's also the side of it where in my last webinar, I gave all kinds of statistics about what's happening in 2025 when it comes to apartments. There are some luxury high-end apartments. So consider, looking at how can we attract those kinds of people? But all right, moving on. Great site. What we're looking to do is build a great site built to specifically convert. I'm looking to consistently convert visitors, callers, and leads. I'm also looking to fill the schedule and get those trucks running and get some momentum and consistent leads. What we don't want is a bunch of like, coming and going kind of. We buy something, we get a few leads, we don't do any marketing, we let the website sit, and then we come back and we do something else. So we kind of want a momentum. We want consistent growth in the site, and we want people to be able to constantly, see us as the authority in this space. In your local moving area, I want to be able to visually understand who you are and come to your site, know who you are. I trust you. I've seen you, and that builds momentum. Now, your website is your hub. It is your marketing hub. This is where all roads lead back to your website. I don't care what kind of marketing you do. Your website is the marketing hub, which leads me into why is it so important that my website converts? Well, first off, we've got 500 leads per month, right? We've got a 5% conversion, no follow-up. Maybe we get 25 book jobs from those 5%. We had an average of a $1,500 move, which gets us to $37,500. Now, if I can just up my conversion on that website by 10%, that gives us $112,500 with that average move of $1,500. So just the slightest changes in our conversion on our website will make the biggest difference. I'm not going to be discussing SEO tactics here. I'm not going to be going into keywords and location pages. That's for another time. I've got another webinar coming up where we'll go into more detail about SEO tactics. If you want, you can go to my conversion checklist, and let me double check if this is still accurate. Should work. If not, I'm going to live this sucker and get it going correctly. Yeah, there we go. So this, go ahead and download it. Again, free. I'm not even going to ask for your email. It's totally cool. You're looking for mmrlinks.com/convert checklist, and you're going to get this pretty thorough checklist of everything you need to make sure your website is a converting machine. So all the things that I have on that checklist, you're going to get. Now, just to kind of befores and afters, here's one from Blue Ox where the first, right? And the problem with this one is, and there's nothing horrible about it. It's a decent site. It just lacked a little bit of a specific call to action. So we're kind of hiding the phone number in the top where it just says Houston instead of a big button that says call now. We've got request a free quote that's kind of tucked away on the right side. We're just not being very strategic about this, very purposeful about what I want you to do. On the second version, and we've done 3 versions of this site, this is the second one. You can see we're actually highlighting request an estimate at the top. We've got a specific call phone number. Now, what we've learned, and we have another iteration of this, is the forms don't do as well as a phone call. So the third iteration is we had the button, a highlighted button. I would say even more we would have this call now would be at the top furthermore, and the request and estimate might be a little shaded gray, so that's not the most visible thing. We really want those phone calls. Some moving companies, it's okay if we do the forms. We've got some clients that are happy with the forms because they are on it. They get that form and they call immediately. Some, not so much. And so when they call back in a couple of hours or even an hour, they're not going to get a response. So it just kind of depends on how your own internal operations work, whether we're going to focus on estimates or phone calls. But personally, I feel like phone calls are the best tool to convert. So always try and get that call. So what's the one element that's going to have the biggest impact on your overall marketing on results? So, and how do we optimize that impact for conversions? Well, once it's your website, right? It's your website. So first off, we're going to try and be strategic. We're going to work on our content and our copy of the site. We're going to work on the design. We're going to work on your mobile friendliness of the site. We're going to work on whether we're going to focus what that call to action is. It's going to be forms, a call. We're going to have an immediate estimate using some automation and AI to build out an estimate right away. Multimedia, what kind of photos, video do we want to include? Performance, right? Trust and authenticity. And then, trust and authenticity is about reviews, about getting association links on there. And we're I'm just looking, where is all my slides in here? I might have to switch over to my other program here because it looks like some of these have disappeared on me here. So let me flip over here real quick. I'm going to pause this for a second. And let's see. Live, folks. Live. I was just looking at this. Let me pull out my other one here. I think I might pull out my other account. Yeah, we're going to start over because I'm going to start using some of the sites that we've done with others. So this is a better version. This is the one I used on the chamber today. And we're not going to pull this in. All right, back over here. So it's very similar presentation. I just don't have as much of the moving company. All right. Now back to, where were we here? All right. Yeah, so forms versus phone calls, which one are we going to use? I would also kind of tell you that sometimes these conversions aren't always about the actual sale. Some people are just put their home up for sale. And now we're looking for what is, I haven't decided yet, but I just want to know, I want to be ready for that moving client or that move when it does arrive, when I actually do have my home up for sale or I have sold it. So one of the things we do is we have a checklist, the ultimate moving checklist. So part of a conversion is getting that email address. Your customer journey could be pretty instantaneous. I call, I want to get a quote, I want to schedule. Sometimes your customer journey could be a little bit longer. It could be weeks or a couple months because the house hasn't sold, but I want to stay on top of that person. So one of those ways you're going to do that is with the ultimate moving checklist. And one of those are like, here's one, let's go to B2B moving. And if we scroll down here, we've got our ultimate moving checklists in here. Well, we got our offers and promotions, but if I come down here to our moving checklist, usually what we'll do is we'll put it within the site, but what we're trying to do is get the ultimate, we're trying to get their email address. And so that once a month we can reach out. I would even do, if you're going to be more aggressive about this, make sure that we've got their name and their email, and you want to follow up with them with a phone call, or if you get their email address, for sure, you can usually get the phone. You might include the phone number on here. Now, the next is content and copy. So making sure your website is optimized with the right kind of content. And we've got a couple of points here to make sure that any website converts, and that would be to speak to the pain points. I would absolutely make sure that you are unnerving your audience, get them to understand that you understand their pain points. So sometimes it could be, some people are a little afraid that you're going to damage something, that you might not show up on time, that they're going to be missing items. So always address that. So some people have like a tailored approach. Some people have guarantees. Some people, we have experienced employees. We don't hire contractors. Some people, whatever it is that makes you unique, speak to that pain point and how you have solved it. That's always should be the number one thing that's on the top of your head. You want to have succinct copy. You want to read at a 10th grade reading level. Not that I assume people won't understand if I, have a more complicated content, but really I'm scanning the site, I'm looking for the information that I want, and I don't want to have to think about it or guess what it should be. And so I think it's really important to have the reading level that is very clear, easy to understand, not a lot of jargon, everyone understands what you're talking about. Legible content, make it active voice, make it urgent. I would say that as you're coming into this peak season, kind of talk about that it's important to book early. It's important to start scheduling and organizing your things and getting ready for that move. I would so kind of build in that urgency. Offer some specials and coupons. So for example, I was showing you down here, we've got some coupons, referral discounts, repeat customer discounts, snowbird discounts. So, this we'll probably have to change this out, getting ready for the spring season. But kind of have that kind of content where you're differentiating yourself, but also making sure that everybody understands that, we need to make a choice, make a decision, and move forward. We want to make sure we organize our blogs, and in each blog should have some kind of call to action. We don't want to just post a post. We do have blogs that you obviously use it for content marketing. We're sharing those on social media. So you're driving people back to the website at all times. Every time you create an article, it should always be thinking about, how am I going to share this with my audience so that they understand what to do. Now, one thing about, now that we do a lot of energy sites as well, and one thing I would encourage you to do is, on your homepage, always speak to the customer. Don't always think about our mission, why, we've been in business for 25 years, we've done these, how special are we, me. Because you know what, it's really not all about you. It really is more about your audience, your clients, your leads, the people that you're trying to attract. It's really all about them. So think about them when you're building out a website. What is it that is important to them? And what are the things that are going to keep them on the site, keep it a little sticky? How do we engage more with them so that they stick around? You want to unnerve your market. What are those pain points? Offer a clear, and you are the resolution. That's how you need to think of this. You are the solution to their problem. If they've had a bad experience in the past, address that, have that conversation on the website, talk about frequently asked questions, and how are you going to be different? Now, for me, it's sometimes a little difficult. And so we have step 1, step 2, step 3, and this is all you need to know, right? Look how easy it is to have a conversation with us. We've got, this is a remodeling company that we did, and we've got clear choice for your home improvement, right? So we got the form is right up front. The phone is very visible. And this is very similar to a lot of the sites that we build out. We're just trying to get people to make a decision. At the same time, I do want to engage with them on the site. I do recommend using some kind of chat. If you are going to use a chat, just make sure it's that you are active on it. It's kind of bugs me when I go to a chat and there's nobody actually there to answer my questions. There are options now for AI that would be a little bit more engaging, but the stickiness factor is what we're looking for here. And if you are going to use anything, make sure you've got some decent photos. Make sure, and even for moving companies, let's go over to Soldier Strong here. Right. So even for moving companies, as much as I like your truck, I would prefer it if we had something of the team. I really want to show the team, and I really want to show how you guys work. I want to, everyone should be wearing the purple shirts. They should be wearing the logo on the back and the hats. And we should be these photos should be of your team. AI and stock photos just aren't going to cut it. It's a bit of an issue there. All right, we're going to talk about design now. Now, design, we want to make sure it's simple and visible. Simply visually, I don't see how some websites are really, really cluttered, and it can be very distracting. I think when I come to a site, I want to know what you want me to do very quickly. Do you want me to call, fill out a form, download a checklist, learn more about the kinds of services that you do? It still needs to be sticky. And I know some websites, they have a lot of things happening and animations happening, but I think that takes away from what I want somebody to do. I want somebody to call. That's really it. Again, Google's looking at stickiness. It does measure engagement, and it measures how well you stay on the website and how long and what you do. Because there are inside analytics, you'll notice there's events. There's key events and events. Events Google puts on every site. Clicking, scrolling, watching a video, all those things are tracked for every website. Now there's key events that we would put in as a quote conversion, and those are goals. They're key events. So we are going to have things like you filled out a form, you clicked the call button. Those are key events. And if I'm not doing more on all the events, it might have that impact, or it does have that impact on people's, what I want them to do. Again, stickiness, yes, but the end result is I want a phone call. I want somebody to call me, fill out the form. Next would be important content clearly visible, consistent branding and message. And I would say probably should move this at the top is mobile friendliness. And we'll show you some examples on that. Visible mobile elements, right? So if I'm on a mobile device, don't look for the phone number. That phone number should be sticky at the bottom. No matter where I'm at, that phone number is a button for me to call. And I don't want to have to search because most of your people are on a mobile device. Visible mobile elements, avoid stock photos. I see a lot of guys in blue bibs, and I don't think that it helps with the transparency and the authority and the trust. It's obviously stock photos. That's not your real team. And I just, avoid stock photos. Just do what you can. Do what you can. Take real photos of real people, real places, real services, real products, and make sure that that's kind of what we're working on here. We want real people on your website. Social icons on the footer. Please don't put those on the header. Don't put them on the top. You're literally inviting somebody to leave your site. No, don't stick around. Go to Facebook and get super distracted. No, that's great. Let's just leave your site. I'm going to go straight to Facebook and see what you do on Facebook and get distracted with my friends and what they're posting. No. Those all need to go at the bottom, at the footer. It's fine to have them, but it's not my most important. If I have spent so much money to get people to my site, the last thing I want is them leaving. So if I've done a social media post, I come to the site and don't do that. Put that on the footer. Then we've got guiding your attention to the most important elements. So we want to make sure the form is very clear, buttons are clear, human faces that kind of move you toward whatever you want them to do. So if they've got a face and they're looking at the form or at the call button, that's what you want rather than looking away and the button's over on that direction. This is just an example of an old cluttered site. You can see there's a lot going on. It's a freight site, and we're not quite sure. We have the corner here. We got a lot of stuff going on. Look, we're going to tweet this. We can leave the site and tweet X. We've got more buttons. We got a login here, request a quote, and this was the redesign. Not a lot. I mean, this is not like crazy new design, but just from a cleanliness and an ease of use element, this is what we've got. Get a quote. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody chatting in here. All right. This is a before for a home builder up in the Northeast. And we've got, it's okay. Again, it's not the greatest version of somebody's kitchen, and it doesn't quite give you that wow impact. I would say the same thing if we were to do, let me think of, who am I thinking of? Can't think of them right now. We've come down here to Rosano, and this is the new redesign. We had an 88% increase in their form submissions. So it does make an impact. We can see the conversions here, and their conversion for them was not so much fill out a form. It's definitely make a phone call, but look how small that button is. That wasn't the most important thing they wanted to do. It was visiting the showroom. That was the number one thing that they wanted to see. And that's where we see that. And also the forms were filled out. So you can see that the form submission here is an 88% increase, but we've got those on other parts of the site. This is one of my stories here. This is an example of a company, a chemical company that did some chemical processing and custom chemical blends. They had another company reach out to them, multi-million dollars. But after the conversations, it turns out they went to the website. They went to this website. This is about 5 years old now. This doesn't exist anymore. and they lost the business because they thought the company was too small. So imagine you've got your own moving company, and it doesn't quite reflect the professionalism. It doesn't quite reflect a company that might have a couple of trucks. And that's kind of what this was. It has the front door, it has their building, but it doesn't show the vastness of the warehouse, the people, the executive team. And that's what I want your moving company to have. I want you to have, I want pictures of people at work, right? I need people loading things. I need your trucks wrapped. I need to know that you are a legitimate company and that you are ready to take on my household needs. There's a trust factor in that we're trying to build on your website that will have an impact on conversions. So later on, it just, we had other elements on there. Part of their claim to fame was 46 years in the business. For us, it was, they wanted to view products. And part of what they were trying to show is that we have everything and we're not a small company. So take a look at our products and we can answer questions. That was their call to action. That was a conversion for them, was when you get your product, you request that product. It wasn't e-commerce. An example of a school, their call to action was to get applications, but to show the culture of the school. And we don't really have a call to action here. We're hiding the phone number in the upper left. It's almost like we don't want them to call. Never put your email on a site that will just attract spammers. The bots will scrape that and you just become fodder for the spamming. And redesign was inspiring generational leaders, and that request information, I think we've changed that since to apply, because not everybody is added to the school, and so we wanted to have a request information. But you see it's highlighted at the top. We moved the email. It's just the address of, obviously, if you want to visit, the phone call. But their biggest deal was request information in Family Portal. Right? Is your website mobile friendly? Now, 4.8 billion people now on the mobile phones. I think that's pretty much a given. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphones. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turned to a competitor site if they had a bad mobile web experience. So always looking at your website on your mobile phone. How does it behave? Is it easy to fill out the form? Can I get the phone number really quick? What we like to do is add that phone number on the bottom, and it just sits there on the bottom. It can be a big button that says call, but on that is you touch it and it will dial immediately. So that's just something we want to make sure is always at the bottom. I don't want to have to hunt for the phone number. I'm not really keen on them filling out a form. I just really want that phone call. And which brings me to forms versus phone calls. Forms versus calls. Do we want a form filled out? Do we want a phone call? Do we want a chat? Do we want an SMS? My feeling is, just from the experience working with moving companies, is the phone call is the best conversion tool. Getting them on the phone is way better than filling out the form. Some people have success with the form because, like I mentioned earlier, they immediately call right back. They don't let that form sit there for longer than maybe a couple of minutes. It's an immediate phone call. So I think that works well. I think a combination, though, if you have a form, you can have a text back that says, hey, we got your information. We'll call you back in a couple minutes, right? The worst you want to do is a form that goes off into the ether and nothing happens. We have no words, no confirmation that you got my form. And so at minimum, if I filled out a form, I at least want to have a confirmation that the form that you got it, and as well as maybe a couple follow-up emails, maybe the checklist that you're going to send them, why you kind of content. A video would be great. Phone calls are always preferred. We can track those as well as a form. Chat, I think, works, but you have to be active on the chat. I just don't think having a chat and then they fill out their name and email completely defeats the purpose. So if you're not going to do chat properly, don't put chat on there. There are AI chats. You can train the AI to answer the questions. That's it takes some time to build that out. There's tools out there for that. I've used it myself, but again, that AI needs to have the right prompt. You need to set that up properly, otherwise you're not going to get the right answers and you're going to just frustrate people. When you're doing a form, only do necessary fields. Don't put every single field you can think of. I think we've seen some where you kind of walk through in stages. So, where are you moving from? Where are you moving to? What kind of service? Is it apartment, commercial, home, right? And then how many bedrooms, right? So depending on that, you can have that process. Those work. Or you just have a very simple form: where from, where to, expected move date, and maybe the type of service that you're looking for. It just kind of depends. You have to play with it. You have to figure out what's going to be that one tool that's going to convert people. Visual steps, like I mentioned earlier, having steps, walking through step 1, step 2 visually helps people fill out a form a little better. I think also on the thank you page, when I fill out a form, I would prefer if you all had a video on the thank you page. The president, the operations manager, I don't care who it is, but somebody representing the company should be on that thank you page. Thanking you, appreciate your time. We're going to call you back in the next 5 minutes. Be on the lookout for this number. That's us calling, because we all know we get these weird numbers and we immediately go to voicemail, and now we're just done. So let's give them some instructions on what to do and what to expect in the next couple minutes after you've filled out the form. Communicate easy of use or response. Easy 2-minute application. We typically respond in 30 minutes, right? So give them some expectations after they filled out the form. What should they expect? This is just one of those examples here. Now, one thing I would say about this site is the email, phone, the labels are white. I would think it'd be a little bit difficult. We built this site, and if you look for it, I would go back and change that to black because it is a little bit difficult to read. But I think this is a good set of fields. The more that you do, the less people are going to stick around to it. So if you're going to have stages, I would max it out at 3 stages. Where you move from, hit submit, what kind of move, hit submit, final, right? Name and email. I just prefer this one. It's easy, it's short. You could add more. I just think the more you do, the less likely they're going to do it. But again, I just prefer the phone calls. Multimedia. You want to incorporate video. You're going to keep your videos short as much as you can. Avoid animated explainer videos. I think headless videos are okay, but this has to represent your business. So be sure to use your own photos that you've taken with your team, and you could have kind of a video of the whole process, from the packing, loading, stacking, storage, unpacking, and then the finished product. And you could have an entire series of photos and just keep doing those. You'd be surprised. People love these videos. There's a couple guys out there, they just tell their story of what it's like to own a moving company. I enjoy them. They're interesting characters, and they talk about what it's like to own a moving company. And I just like watching them. So you could do a little bit something like that and just kind of share the journey of a mover. And you don't have to sit there and do what I'm doing with the camera in front of you. You could just talk while the photos and the mini videos are running through that you've kind of captured. And editors, you can find editors on Fiverr, Upwork, and just say, I've got 20 photos and a couple of videos, and use ChatGPT to create a script for yourself and have the editor put it together. If you don't have time, again, it's all about your time too. I would opt for customer testimonials. I think those are the best, and they get the most traction when it comes to conversions. I would mix up your videos. Maybe on the homepage, have a welcome video from the team, from the president, should be at the top. Videos for each of your services: residential, commercial video, apartment video, and each one would represent that type of move. We're just trying to mix up the content. Again, back to that stickiness factor, keep people on the site and then until they're ready to make a decision. Maybe video explaining why someone should contact you versus the competition. And, don't be afraid to talk about what makes you unique, for sure. If you've got a really big competitor in your area, you don't have to specifically say who they are, but you can certainly reference what they do and what makes you different. Videos are great testimonies for that. And, my site, I've got the video pretty much on several of the pages. Even my proposals have a couple of videos on there. This is just a plumber out in California. This is hydrojetting storm drain. There's really nothing special about this. He's literally just showing how he's, doing his work. And it's like, who would have thought? He's got like 1,000 visitors on this thing, or views on this. So you never know what people are interested in watching. Here's one. Is this the video? That's all this is. Showing his work, his team. He's supervising here. He's got this big machine out, and that's all he's doing. So here's one Puget Sound mover here. I really like this guy here. This was one of their clients. Uh, they just finished a move, and he's out his window. There you go. 20 seconds. Put that on your website, right? Get some video testimonials. There's a tool called Video Ask, and great tool if you need to find. It's a kind of a walkthrough, so you can send some of your fans, your favorite customers, and send them a video ask. You can kind of set it up to ask, like interview them remotely. So you can give it the questions, and then through the video, the person is prompted through the process. And I really like this tool. It makes it a lot easier. You don't have to set up lights. You don't have to set up anything. You just kind of have that conversation with them. You can do that through Zoom, have video. But these are really great tools to put on your website. I highly encourage it. Do as much as you can video and put that on your site. Performance is another area when it comes to your website's conversion. Sure enough, we want to have a downloads. It needs to download under 3 seconds. Optimally, though, ideally under 2 seconds is what we're looking for. We want to optimize our images. So careful when people like to upload these big videos on the homepage in the background. I mean, they're cool and all. I mean, it does affect the performance of the website. I don't recommend them. People aren't really watching them. They're really there to learn what it is that you do. And if you've got a video of a big moving truck moving, it kind of defeats the purpose in my mind. I know you're a moving company, but I just want to get the phone call. I want to know if you are the kind of company that I should be working with. I think photos are the best of the team, but if you do that, just be really careful. So if you add a video, just be careful to look at the performance and check that. We've got optimized images, so don't upload 10 megabyte, 20 megabyte photos. If you do, we have tools that will compress the image and will make it, as soon as you upload it, immediately compresses the image and makes it the size, the physical size, megabytes, down to kilobytes. But we have those tools. But if you're managing your own website, just be careful when you upload really large photos. Try and compress them early. There's a tool called, I think it's is it Pingdom? No. Let's see. If you actually do compress photos, there is TinyPing. Here it is. This was a good one. You can just upload a stash of photos in here, and it'll immediately compress the photos for you for free. It does limit you, so up to 20 images, 5 megabyte each. So it's super easy to use, and it's free. Make sure that your site is accessible to people of all ages and disabilities. Make sure that there's contrast, and because Google does put this into account when it's looking at your site as to whether or not they're going to put you on the top of the search results. If people are having a poor experience with your website, that will cause some problems. So always make sure that the performance of the site is fast. It's easy to find. It's accessible. So the contrast between the background and the foreground text is easy to read. Content Delivery Network is a tool kind of like so that's a system. Cloudflare is the brand name that does a CDN, and that is something that sits between your server and your website. And in between there would be Cloudflare. We always put everybody on a Cloudflare account. It allows the distribution of your website to be seen very quickly because it doesn't, if your server's in Utah, but your website, your customers are in Florida, it's going to distribute the images so it's closer to the one in Florida. Same thing all over the world. Now, most of you guys are local, so it's not a big deal, but it does have an impact on speed, performance, security. We can block whole countries. If we're noticing that we're getting hit really hard by a foreign country, we can block it completely, and that'll help. But it also has, it does improve your speed as well. So it's just also much easier to manage the domain. You don't have to give somebody access to your domain name like GoDaddy or Network Solutions. It just keeps them within the DNS management, which kind of is what we use to point domains to websites, as well as mobile experience is another part of performance. Now, when we come in here into this, which is Google, let's see if you go to Google, just Google website performance, Google website performance. And you're going to look for page speed insights. This is what we're looking for. Now, if I do, let's see, it's been a while, so don't get mad if I have to double check here. So what it's going to do is it's going to give me the performance of B2B moving. And let's see, let's get another one while that's running. Let's look at another one here. Oops. So we get HerculesMoving.com. I think that's the domain. Yep. Takes a while, but we've got the mobile performance and we've got the desktop performance. So our desktop is usually pretty good. It's our mobile that's always a bit, we kind of got to watch it. So this looks like we need to come back in here. Now you can see we're under 2 seconds. Google's insisting that we get this even faster. And what that is, and you can see here, this is how a website downloads and how quickly it downloads. So like the first couple milliseconds, it's blank. So we kind of want to make sure, at least at this point, we've got some kind of image going. So for us, we're going to need to go back and look at, is the image too big? Do we have too much JavaScript loading at the top? Too many things happening in the beginning? And, you know, we're trying to get this up in this kind of green mode of 88, 90 or more. That's kind of the goal. Now, with websites, here's the thing. This isn't a forever, this isn't like we make a change and it's never going to change again. This website or any of these performance, the minute we update a plugin, update WordPress core, add a photo, will affect the performance. So this is checked regularly. And we're always looking at, oh my God, the site, what just happened? We just down to a 50 or a 40. So we're on it. We go back in here, we got to figure out why did it drop from an A to a B to a C. And so this is a mobile experience. Desktop, we're okay. It looks like I got a little fix, some accessibilities. Maybe there's some SEO that we kind of fix here. But 97 is probably, it's wicked high. So on a desktop, we're loading really, really fast. Mobile though, we need some help. We got some work to do. And here's where it kind of explains to you what that is. Most of you may not understand it. A lot of this is, you know, this might tell me the largest content painful element means that this div class, this wrap is taking too long. And that's the first thing that it's trying to download. So we need to figure out what this header is. So we come back over here to B2B moving and we go to this header. There's something up in here that's causing it to be slow. And we got to figure out what that is. All right. And, you know, here's another one. So here they got 59. Look, 5.1 seconds. So that's me and the team. We got to look and see what's going on here. Why is it so slow? That's not them. That's not them. Hold on. Here we go. Let's do this one. That's not our client. This is it. Anyway, that would be good. Hey, if that's you, call us. Let's see here. Another example, right? We've got some movement here. It's probably a little too much. We probably want to not put this here because we've got these things happening up here. Probably might need to adjust that a little bit. But again, we've got real photos as much as we can. Not everybody has all the photos right up front. So we do kind of do our best. So we use some stock photos. But at least we're trying to attempt that this is a legitimate company. You can trust them. And we've got some authority here, right? There's real photos. We've got licensed and bonded. So here's all the things why you should choose Hercules Movers. Definitely our reviews. You might want to move this up a little higher. One thing about websites when you're trying to convert them is the minute you kind of get past about here, the number of people that keep scrolling starts to diminish. So we want to kind of put things up a little higher. I think the happy clients, the reviews should be up a little more. So we got 74 here. We're okay. It's not dire straits, but I do want to make sure that we're kind of addressing why this is at 74 and not like 85 or 90. And even the first content painful, I don't know why we've got this length here. Oh, here's the largest. So 7.5 seconds. That's what's dropping us in here. So that's something we want to take a look at. We want to fix that because that's the mobile experience. Most people are looking at it. Desktop, we're rocking and rolling on this. We're good, but looks like we got to fix the mobile stuff. And that's what I recommend you guys do. Go to the pagespeed.web.dev, put your website in there. What does it say? And if it's give you a really low score, go back to your developer, have them take a look at it. How can we improve the speed on this? All right. talked about that. Story time, just about mobile sites. You'd be surprised. One thing we look at when we look at mobile websites is, again, how are they converting? And we have an analytics that will tell us inside Google Analytics by device. It's a mobile, a desktop, or a tablet. And here's just one example. We get, this is, I think, over the a week-long visit here. And total users, 3,000 for mobile, 2,150 for desktop. But now if you come over here into the key events, you'll notice that switch. All of a sudden we get way more conversions over on desktop than we do on mobile. That tells me that the mobile version has a very poor experience. That will affect conversions. And so what do we got to do to make sure that those 3,000 people, I don't know what the percentage is in here, 5% of people that came to the site converted, we should see that doubled on a mobile device. So always look at your Google Analytics, what's working and what's not working. The next is to talk about trust and authenticity. Your website, as I keep saying, is your hub. It's the hub of your marketing. All roads lead back to your site. And if you are not presenting yourself in a trustworthy, authentic manner, you will lose more clients than you think. And it also goes back to the same problem, not getting the right kind of leads. If your website looks like your uncle made it at midnight in 30 minutes, you are not going to attract the kind of homeowners that you think that you should be getting. You want a website that attracts the right kind of people. And if you don't want, I say go for any moving client, if it's apartments, students, whatever the case may be, but your website has to kind of express that we are trustworthy, we are authentic. And part of that is, what do you say about yourself? What others say about the website? So always, ask your clients, ask your family, ask them what they think of the site. If they were to look for a moving company, and family, not so much, they're going to be really nice to you. Customers are the best. Why did you choose us? And ask them a little bit more deep questions about the website. Was there something on the site that caught your attention? Did you struggle with something on the website? See if you can get a little bit of feedback on the site when you have that, when you maybe signed up and they booked a call and booked a move with you. What is visible on the page, including the main content sections such as reviews and comments. That's all part of our trust. We're trying to build trust, which is the center of our EAT kind of methodology. EAT, which is part of Google's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And trust being in the middle. How are we going to build trust? Real photos, visible content. It makes sense. We've got videos, we've got associations, we've got reviews, we've got authentic images. Please don't put pictures of strange people. Don't put pictures of people in blue bibs. And you know what I'm talking about. These are sites that have, they're usually European stock photos. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why we can't get a US-based photographer do some decent stock photos of real US home movers, because they don't wear bibs. They usually wear jeans, cargo pants, t-shirt, ball cap. That's the uniform. So authentic images, authority symbols. If you're part of the BBB, if you're part of a chamber, if you're part of Angie's, if you're part of any kind of associations, make sure you put those in there. So anything like the trucking associations, the movers associations, all that needs to be on your site. That's part of authenticity and trust. Company culture. Part of a converting site is getting the right kind of employees. So if you're just in that stage where you're growing and you're trying to build the business, then what you're looking for is showing the company culture is the type that someone would apply for. And that could be on your About Us page. So one thing that a lot of movers don't like doing is putting themselves on the site. They don't want to take any pictures of themselves. They don't want to take the staff pictures. I don't understand that methodology. If you really want people to know who you are, you've got to put yourself out there and not be afraid to take photos of yourself. Put yourself on the homepage. You as the owner, you as the operations manager, all of you guys that are front facing need to have your photos on the website. Don't be afraid of that. And it helps you target the people that are looking for genuine companies that aren't going to disappear in the night. There's a reason why they're calling you and not going to Craigslist looking for just some mover. They're coming to you and they're going to spend a little bit of extra money with you. And I want to make sure that you are authority and I need to see your face. Leverage social proof. So obviously you've got your reviews, video reviews we talked about. Trust factors are visible. Testimonials with real names, titles. That's why we prefer to just connect to Facebook and Google so that they're dynamically updating the reviews. Communicate your value. Now, just, we've seen these. I think it's okay to pull out some of the reviews that they say nice things about you. You kind of want to separate those out. But you really do need a tool that is dynamic enough that it automatically updates those reviews every time you get a review on Google or Facebook. There's all kinds of ways of displaying that. You could just have a little section here. And again, just to kind of change it up to make things a little bit different and improve on that stickiness. Always put in your associations. Make sure that you're showing all the different types of communities that you belong to. If you do any nonprofit community-based charities, make sure that you're sharing that on your site. There's your reviews. Don't know why that's on there. All right, so that's kind of the bottom line there. And if you've got any questions, I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. Ooh, we've got some chat here. Oh, yeah, awesome. Hey, page speed's really useful. Great. Thanks, Julianne. Thanks, Rebecca. If there's got any other questions on here, I'd love to answer anything if you've got. If not, throw them in the comments. Happy to come back and answer anything in the comments. And if you are interested, there is the conversion checklist. So go to that GX website, gxweb.site/convert. This looks like my global specs version. So I need to give you, hold on, let me give you the correct one from Movers. Where's my, definitely want the internet marketing, ultimate internet marketing checklist. You want to incorporate as much as you can here, especially before we get to the busy season, which is coming up in April. Make sure that you're going through this checklist and you kind of, am I doing these things? Then where is my conversion? I think that was the beginning here. There it is. So make sure we've got your checklist. I'll throw that back up in here again. Download your conversion checklist. This is just all the things that I talked about, making sure that you're doing these 50 critical elements to enhance conversions on your website. That's super important. But any other questions that you guys might have? Let me go back down to the end here. I would ask yourself, what are the top 3 things you're going to do with your website after watching this? What's the first thing you need to do? Do I need to remove all the stock photos and replace them with real photos of my team? Do I need to remove the clutter? Do I need to update my navigation so it's clear, I can find things? What are the things that kind of easy to do? But be sure to reach out to me. Happy to have that conversation. If you're kind of stuck, you can throw it into the comments and I'll be more than happy to kind of give you what my impression is, what maybe some quick things you might want to do with your website just for, quick conversion. Then I do recommend my photo shoot checklist. If you haven't done that yet, be sure to download the photo shoot checklist. This is where, if you're not sure what to take photos of or how to take the photos, this is a really good checklist on before shots, after shots, during shots, making sure. One problem that I get with people taking photos is they get too close to the subject. I need you to pull back more. So if you're taking a photo of your truck, I need you to really, really stand back, because I can't, with AI now, I can kind of expand on it, but I prefer it. I need space. I need space to crop. I need space to put photos on. So if you get too close and you got your name and your phone number on your truck, it doesn't leave a lot of creative room for the photo. But just kind of step back a little bit. I can crop. It's harder to make things bigger. I can make things smaller. I can't make things bigger. Then there's other kind of thing. Not so many portraits. Portraits are okay, especially for your social media. I can use a few of them on the site, but I really need that landscape. Then there's also all kinds of options on there. So there's a whole checklist in there. But online marketing plan, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I don't do sales pitches. I'm not going to sit here and trying to sell you anything. I'm really happy just to have a conversation, see how I can help, give you some ideas, advice. I'll do an audit. I'll just kind of do a quick video for you. There's no hard sell here. I'm just not that kind of company. And so let's talk. Movingmarketingresults.com/schedule. See if we're a good fit. Have a conversation. And like I said, I just want to be helpful to you. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Feel free, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.